Good morning. Oh my God, you even get my morning voice, morning face, everything. And this is real coffee, guys. Watch out. The world's tiniest sips I'm having because I did actually have a real coffee a few weeks ago. And I just went, yeah, it'll be fine. And I was out of control. I was out of control. Still breastfeeding. My son is having a bit less milk now, like 3 feeds a day. Who's here? Sophie Henshaw. Hello. Hello. So yeah, just saying I've got real coffee this morning because I need it. One tiny sip. How are you, Sophie Henshaw? What's happening in your world? Haven't spoken to you at all this week. And what was my point? There was no point, just coffee, breastfeeding. So doing that a lot less because he's eating tons of food. He eats a lot, you guys. And one of the beautiful things here in Italy that doesn't happen everywhere in the world is every single day I cook him fresh meals, like fresh to the point of I make a vegetable broth every single day, twice a day. It takes an hour each time. This is how Italian mothers do it. And then blend that with fresh food. So I cook some chicken or I cook whatever, but he gets 2 basically chef meals a day and then he's brekkie. Hello, waiting for a client to get here. Hurrah, lucky client. I've been loving your posts, just seeing way more of you as in your offline practice, the things that you do differently. And I think that that is so special, Sophie, the way that you run your business and the belief system that you have around that. And I can totally see why people come to you for years and years and decades. I want to come to you. I don't really have a reason at the moment, but there's always a reason. I just want to come and be in your essence, all this stuff that you're saying on your recent post. And like massive congrats. I don't know if you guys have been watching Sophie's growth, but going from not sharing too much to sharing everything. And that's what I do. Thanks, Crystal. Liking ya, loving ya, giving you love. But watching Sophie's evolution of how she's sharing, and that's really kind of an honor to witness, because going from this place where, and so many of you can relate to this, of being really scared to share who you are for whatever reason, maybe bad experiences in the past, or just because we're conditioned that way to have the mask on. And now sharing so many impressive things, deep stuff, things that people really connect to, and it makes all the difference. Hope you're feeling good about it, so because you look like a fucking rock star online. I'm just getting my pen, and I couldn't even tell you where it is actually. Cooking from scratch, that is. Yeah, I call it cooking like a chef because for me, that's cooking like a chef. I mean, probably people a long time ago used to do that with all their children because you didn't really have ready-made meals, but I don't know any mother now who cooks every single meal fresh. And it takes an hour. It takes me an hour twice a day to cook for my son. He's a lucky baby, and that's why he's so vigorous and so freaking strong. Anyway, the point of that is he's breastfeeding less. And the other point I want to make, I do have a point to make on this live stream, but the other point I want to make about breastfeeding is I put a post the other day on my personal page because I just think like breastfeeding a child who is teething, guys, if anybody has children who is watching, and lots of you do, if you don't have children, imagine a very angry baby shark that just has to bite everything. Or like if you've ever had a puppy, Toby was a puppy once probably, Sophie, destroying everything. And then you've got to breastfeed that child. That's real fucking love, guys. And I would never take on a woman who's breastfed in a fight, ever. Okay, so now, let's get to the point of this. I just want to talk today about the little ways that so many of you are hiding your brilliance and hiding behind things rather than showing your brilliance or just accepting your brilliance or just looking it in the face, right? And what that's doing to you, because this has come up a lot lately. I just wrote an email about that because Borderless and Booked Out is opening now for round 2, which I have decided is going to be a live round. It's going to be a live group program again rather than a course, which is super freaking exciting. Eventually it will be a course, a passive income course, but it still just feels really good to me to keep improving this in the live sense, and also because, oh, by the way, how good's my fucking internet right now? We have internet at the house. I want to see if it is good. Tell me if it is good. Is this like impressively clear? Because it looks like that from my end. We had like tons of guys come here and have to find the line, and like it took 3 days to put internet in our house, but I finally have it. It's not the best in the world. My upload speed is still just 1.5 megabits per second, so it's slow as anything, but the download is very good. God, what was my point? I don't know if this coffee is helping or making it worse. Bottleless and Booked Out is starting on the 22nd, and that is a group program again. I'm so freaking excited about that. Yes, it will eventually be a course, a passive income course. Oh dear, very blurry. God damn it. God damn it, Sophie Henshaw. Thank you for telling me. God damn it, I am actually putting that in the comments. Can you still hear me? That's so freaking disappointing because I'm on Wi-Fi right now. I think this is supposed to be like some kind of test for me, is your internet is always going to be shit. Can you still run an online business? Yes, you can. I've done it for years. All right, I'm just going to keep going. Thanks for letting me know. Depressing. We have internet. No difference. Right, back to you and your brilliance. So I sent out an email to my list, and yes, I'm emailing my list again. It's a very small list, but very curated list. I only brought with me from my old list the people who really read my emails and want to be connected to me in this capacity, in my coaching capacity, and get my support that way. And new people joining my list all the time, and just a few people joining my list all the time, but it feels so much better than what I had before, which was a much bigger list of less interested people who had come from all over the place. So I am starting to enjoy emailing my list again, which is really good. Anyway, sent out an email about the gorgeous Danielle, who did my Borderless and Booked Out round 1, and her story around going from kind of zero to trying a bunch of different things to finally coming around to what I knew she would come around to. And she'll tell you, I was just all the time going, one day you're going to come back to your genius. One day you're going to come back to this. I can't wait for this. I know it's going to be that. You know, we did a mastermind together last year before Matera, and I was always saying, I knew she would get to that. I know you're going to get back to it. So she does plus size yoga, body positive yoga. I think caffeine is wrong for me. But before that, she tried a bunch of different things, and she's still doing these, and there's nothing wrong with these things, but my point about these things is that they will not get you what you want. And I've got another example about that in a minute. So she started doing t-shirt designs and logo designs and graphic design and stuff, and I relate to this so much because I did this in the beginning of my business, and people paid me for that, right? I was getting bits and pieces here and there. I think I even was getting paid $500, $1,000 here and there for doing websites, which was kind of a ridiculous concept because I am not a website designer. I can do it in a shonky kind of way, but people paid me for it who were less good than me, and that's okay. And that's why I know you can sell fucking anything, by the way. I know you can. There's always somebody who's less good at it than you, always. You can sell anything. So she's doing t-shirt designs and logos, and the whole time I'm sitting there going, oh my God, you're such a fucking genius with body positive yoga. Like, that is your genius. That is your genius. That is your thing. And I'm sure so many of you can relate to it, sitting on the outside and going, oh my God, this person is so good at that thing. That's their thing. Somehow it's easier for us to see people's thing when we're on the outside. But the point of that thing is that has the potential to bring in thousands, not $10 here and there, not $1 here and there, not, like, those things are really great for building your confidence, but eventually they end up strangling you. So watching Danielle get through that process through Borderless and Booked Out to launching her program, her body positive yoga online course, which is freaking awesome, was a beautiful experience. And the other example I have of that is Nicole, my gorgeous birth coach, who I have personally been on the receiving end of her genius. Like, she is the reason that my son was born with such confidence, that he is started his life in such a confident way, that even though I was in a medical system where I don't even speak the language, I can't even explain to you what that is like, birthing a child where you don't understand what the doctors are saying. Fucking terrifying. And I was never scared, not for a second, because I had trained with Nicole on being having the power in my own birth, and that has flowed over into all areas of my life. Anyway, she's a fucking genius, right? And we had a session the other day because she won a free intensive through my Reach Relationships Challenge, which a bunch of you were a part of. So we were doing that challenge, and she shared with me a spreadsheet which had her goals on it, right? Good goals, nice financial goals at the bottom. And the way she was getting that was currently through workshops and these little bits and pieces where there's a few hundred bucks here, a few hundred bucks there. And then like the goal was increasing over time and the income was decreasing over time. So the gap got bigger over time. So looking at this spreadsheet made me want to like strangle myself. I don't know, I hate spreadsheets for a start. But just watching this happen, the separation happen, I felt the depression that comes with setting big goals and not getting there, even though you're working your fucking ass off. And I know she works her ass off. And so making a tweak to move into what she was doing with me, which is birth coaching online. I was in Italy, she's in America. She helped me birth my child. She was more helpful to me than any fucking person in this country. Anybody, like meeting with her weekly, all these special things that she did with me to bring me my own empowerment, which is worth thousands. And I mean, looking back on that, I would encourage people to pay tens of thousands to work with Nicole. I don't think there's anything more important than the way that our children start life and the way that we as women birth our children. Like, it is like essential to lack of trauma, to all these really important things, and to the way society works. Anyway, nothing is more important than that, and that's worth a lot of money. So as soon as we stop looking at the bits and pieces and the dragging through mud and working really hard, and you just start looking at what is your fucking genius, and let's just package that and go and get it. And straight away she signed a client. So guys, I just want to encourage you to, if it's not clear to you what your genius is, it's time to find out. It is time to find out, and it's time to commit to it, because all these little bits and pieces, all these things that you're trying, all these things that you've done, yeah, it's nice to build confidence at some point, but at some point you've got to leap in and trust who the fuck you are and trust what the fuck you're here to do. And once you do that, things shift really, really quickly, and thousands can start coming in, like instantly. How long it's going to take you to make the money that you want to make, to have the lifestyle that you want to have the travel that you want to have, when you're doing bits and pieces for $10 or $100 or $500. $500 could probably get you there, where you could just charge $5,000 for something and move on. And that's a different feeling. And making more money is not harder. It's easier. It is easier. It's the same amount of marketing. It's the same amount of time and energy needed to be put into it. And there was another point I wanted to make about what you're offering, right? So many people I see get stuck with, what am I supposed to offer and how am I supposed to structure it and what will I do in there, right? Like completely writing out the whole curriculum of what you will do in there. I don't believe that works. I believe you have a basic framework that people can buy, right? So that there's like a framework that they can put their money to, but that what we bring is all of us to our work. So you offer something like Nicole, her birth coaching, and she was saying, well, should I offer yoga? And it'll be different for each woman and all this kind of stuff. You offer the package and you bring your entire expertise to the person in front of you, and you offer the best of you in every single way. And that's what they're really paying for. So yes, people need a framework to purchase, okay? And a good example of this is, I'm working with a new coach at the moment. I told you she scares the pants off me, and her program is really fucking good. We've only been through 2 videos and a couple of exercises, and and she sells her stuff like she has the shittest website I've ever seen. She's a multi-millionaire. I think she makes millions. She makes multiple hundreds of thousands every month, right? Works less hard than me. She just writes these big blogs, and like anybody that thinks you can't write a long post on Facebook and have it make sales, she is living proof that that is not the case, because she just writes entire blogs on Facebook. At the bottom of it, she pitches her program, and she puts in that pitch, here's what we're going to be covering, right? We're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this. But that's basically just what she knows from the outside before she runs a program. Every time she runs a program, she just runs it however the fuck she wants, whatever she's said on the sales pitch. So she gets into the program, she's like, I know I said this on the sales pitch, and that's a guideline for me, but we're going to go with whatever the energy is and whatever comes through me for this group to move forward in their highest capacity. So she literally just writes a framework, which is vague anyway, and puts all of herself, all of her skills, all of her expertise into the program, into serving the people in front of her. So that means she's completely present all the time. She's not stuck to a curriculum that may or may not be right for her audience. It's just about bringing all of us. And this is something that I think is super, super empowering, that we don't have to be something or other at any given time. We just be all of us in front of the person who's in front of us, and knowing, trusting that that is the way that they're going to be served to all of our highest good. So that's the message I want to bring to you today, is hiding your brilliance between all these little bits and pieces, like choosing to do little bits and pieces of tasks, choosing to get paid in little bits and pieces, like what I call the table scraps of life, like choosing to accept constantly the table scraps of life instead of just going for the 10-course meal, and just saying, that's what I'm having. That is what I'm having. And then always bringing all of us to the table. Whatever you've put on the sales page, whatever you've had to do to make it tangible to sign clients, it doesn't really have that much to do with how you will actually support your people. You'll support your people with all of you if you allow yourself to be fully there, instead of sticking it to a dead set curriculum, right? So that's my thing for this morning. Like, I literally have not even washed my face yet. I just knew I had to bring this to you. And guys, if you need support with this, and you know that you are hiding behind little bits and pieces, and like spreadsheet of doom is what I call Nicole's spreadsheet, the spreadsheet of doom, right? Where your goals are continuing to get bigger, or continuing the same, and your income is continuing to get lower, or continuing the same, so the same problem keeps happening. There is a really simple fucking solution, and that's to go and be the genius that you are. And if you need some support to be the genius that you are, and to remember who the fuck you are, and remember what you're here on earth to do, then come and get in Borderless and Booked Out, because it is going to be a live round this time. Again, we start on the 22nd of March, and this week there's $400 off. 400, whether or not you take the payment plan or the pay in full, whatever, $400 off. And I am happy to do, at the moment there's a 3-part payment plan. I'm considering bringing in a 10-part payment plan as well, for those of you who are desperate to get in and just can't meet those goals right now. I want to be able to make this accessible, because I know this iteration of Borderless and Booked Out is off the freaking charts. Seriously, like, the amount of empowerment that's going to happen just in the first 2 videos, which I know what they're about so far, is unbelievable. So get in. I'll put the sales page in the comments. But in the meantime, please just like be open. If you're not ready to identify it, or you don't know how to identify it, by the way, I've got a free audio on finding out if you are actually living your purpose and how to figure that out and what to do about it. It's really, really easy. I made it the other day. Like, audios are freaking awesome. I don't have to do anything. I can just talk to you when I'm walking around the house. So I'm making more audios, but I have one if that will help you today. In the meantime, please acknowledge how fucking great you are, and how the table scraps of life are not for you anymore. They're absolutely not what you ever wanted, and they're just something you're hiding behind because you're not sure how to bring all of you to the table. And get into Borderless and Booked Out. $400 off, I think, is for 2 more days. Today's Thursday. I'll close it on Saturday night. Get in. Tell me what you think of this. I hope you could see it, because the last comment I got was, oh dear, very blurry. Oh no, there's more. I said, God damn it. Hey, Sophie and Crystal. Hi, Sarah. Best start to my day, Abby Wilkes. Mwah. Do you know what's happened? It started like not auto scrolling, so I don't see all of your comments until I try and scroll. Abby Wilkes, I'm always hiding, stepping up more since Bali, but dragging my left foot. Sounds fabulous. Jesus Christ, Abby Wilkes, do you know how often I think about you when I'm doing these kind of things? Because you are a perfect example of somebody who is a fucking genius at what they do. And everybody in this group knows that. Everybody who's met you knows this, right? We all know this. And you're a perfect example of somebody that I would really like to see step into a fucking massive arena and just demand that you receive exactly what you want, not what you think you can get, right? And bringing all of you to that table. So I'm always available for you, Abby Wilkes. You're like one of my favorite people in the world, but I'm always thinking about you. You know, every time I get on live stream, I'm like, Abby needs this one. I'm going to talk to Abby today, you know, because you are such a fucking genius. You are so good at what you do. You're so, you have this talent, which you're aware of your talent, but I think what's happening is that the talent and what you want to get from that talent are not yet matching up. And that's the thing to work on. And it's a really big point in Borderless and Booked Out this round is how to stop that disconnect happening, how to just step there, just step into that. So we've got some really powerful exercises that I've been working on lately for myself around stepping into that next phase. And that's why I'm turning up for you this morning, right? I might sit here and preach to you guys about just turn up as you are, but you may have noticed that I still do try and do my makeup and I still do try and put some nice clothes on and all this kind of shit, right? This morning I didn't do that because I don't always have time for that. And if I don't have time for that and I don't show up, then I don't show up and the message doesn't come through me. And it's not about whether I've put makeup on, and I can pretend that that was all about my confidence and blah, 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 but it's actually because I had a belief, however little it was, that if I turned up this way, my message would be somehow less valid. And actually, by turning up this way, my message is stronger because it's only about the message. Like this video is completely about the message and a bit of rambling and a bit of accidental too many sips of actual coffee, but it's all about the message. It's not actually about me. It's not about how I'm sitting in front of you or what I'm wearing or like how exhausted my face is. Guys, my Bella beat, by the way, anyone who didn't see the last video, my Bella beat is awesome. But what it does tell me is that last night I had 59 minutes of continuous sleep. That was the maximum. A little bit of knowledge is a dangerous thing, but still I'm showing up for you this morning because the message wants to be shared. I want to share the message is coming through me, and so I'm just sharing it as I am. And that's another part of just bringing all of us to the table. I shouldn't have rubbed my eyes, now they're red, but everything's healing, by the way. My skin thing, reaction that I had to that cream, which has been horrendous for an entire month, is nearly sorted. My eyes have been the slowest. I can't tell you how painful it all was. But that's another excuse that I was using. I can't turn up on camera because my face is all fucked up. Well, who cares? I've got a fucked up face. I'm an awesome human being and I've got shit to share with you. And I know that it's going to change your day. I know that it's going to change the way you do your work. What I will say is moving from that bits and pieces stuff into the big stuff is often easier with a group of people who are doing it together and with somebody holding that container for you. And the only reason for that is we've spent so much time hiding from that it's hard to believe it's possible. And having someone in your corner can help. But it doesn't mean you need someone in your corner. But if you do want a bunch of fucking awesome women in your corner, and some of them are on this call, Sophie Henshaw, if you're still here, which you've probably gone to your client now, and a bunch of there's 8 women at the moment in Borderless and Booked Out, and then we're going to take another 8 this time, 8 or 10, I haven't decided yet. Anyway, if you're going to be one of them, you're going to have all these women doing this same thing who believe in your genius and who watch you with pleasure bloom into that genius. So that's a really powerful thing. I think that the community that gets created in a program like Borderless and Booked Out is something that you can't recreate anywhere. People who join my programs genuinely become best friends for life, especially if you travel together. And by the way, there is a retreat coming up. Abby Wilkes is my partner in crime on that retreat. Just get ready. There's news coming about that. Abby, we need to meet. I know we need to meet. Let's do it. So that was a bit of end rambling now. Hi, Sarah. I said hi, didn't I? Cool. End rambling, going to end the live stream, but I just want you to step into what you know you're supposed to be doing on earth. I've got tons of examples of this, like tons of examples of this, like in this group of women who are fucking ready to just bring all of themselves and to be paid accordingly. Okay. The table scraps of life are not for us. And it is my mission right now to see the women in this group move into that zone of genius, move into that state of blossoming into genius and welcoming that money. And it can be instant. Like I told you, Nicole had a session with me last week. I got a message back, I think 2 days later, that she'd signed her first 3K client, like that, like fucking that. And she had been working her ass off for years. Okay. It's possible for you too. It is totally possible for you. So that's what I'm bringing to you this morning. Bring all of you and stop accepting the table scraps of life. Stop hiding behind your brilliance. And if you need help with that, get in my freaking program. Get in, $400 off this week. In the comments, it'll be. Love you guys. Ciao.